This is The Herd. Great show today. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, live in Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. We have a fantastic show today. I think we could have our best show of the week, and Christine Leahy is joining me on a midweek Wednesday where, Wednesdays sometimes, middle of the week, it slows down. Not today.
I like who's hanging out behind you. I hope you're going to talk about him.
I am Russell Westbrook. I want to start the show today with that. Isn't it interesting? New York Knicks are actually pretty good right now. Anybody notice that? Who left? Oh, Carmelo Anthony, who's not playing well right now, but eventually will, probably, hopefully. Oklahoma City with Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony, of course, cares about stats. That is not what basketball's about. It's about leadership. If you look at the stats of Magic Johnson, a lot of times they didn't blow you away. Magic Johnson's game, mind, talent blew you away. So OKC lost last night to awful Sacramento. They now have a losing record. They now have a losing record with four really good players. Westbrook's a star, George a star, Melo past his prime star, and Steven Adams. And they lost to an abysmal franchise. And do you know why they lost last night? Because they're going out of their way to be nice and balanced, and everybody gets shots. Look at these stats between Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Carmelo Anthony. They're absolutely shockingly even. You won't believe this. They've all scored the exact same amount of points this year, 201. And they're averaging all the exact same points per game, 17. Do you know why they're doing that? Because Russell Westbrook's a great talent, but he's not a great leader yet, although he still has plenty of time to be a leader. If you look at what OKC has done when Westbrook has been aggressive, they're 4-0. And when he tries to be nice, they're 0-6. It's that simple, folks. Westbrook's a talent. He's never been a great leader, and he's going to have to figure it out. This happened in Miami when LeBron went there with D. Wade and Bosh. Remember about 3 weeks, they were 8-7, and they were like, whose team is it? It was LeBron's team. D. Wade was smart enough to get it and handed it over. People who don't know basketball always use stats. No, leadership is not about stats. Russell Westbrook, this is your team. 2 stars, Russell, came to play with you. You are going to stay in Oklahoma City for the rest of your career. I don't care what the stats are. When Russell Westbrook takes over the game for OKC, they are 4-0 this year. When he tries to spread it out and be balanced, he fails. That's why I always say leadership and self-awareness in basketball are more important than talent. You remember the Seinfeld show? They had 4 or 5 strong characters. There would be episodes that Jerry was not speaking very much. It was still his show. It was always Jerry's show. Ever see the show Cheers? 6, 7 strong characters. It was Sam Malone's show. He was the centerpiece of the show, even when Sam Malone didn't have the most lines. The centerpiece of Seinfeld's show was Seinfeld, even when he didn't have the most lines. Lines in Hollywood are like stats in the NBA. Overrated. This is Russell Westbrook's team. He should always decide who's hot and who gets the ball. This is why I've always preferred Steph Curry to Russell Westbrook. I think he's a better, more aware player. The Warriors are Steph Curry's team. But last year in the finals, he made it Kevin Durant because of the matchup. In the Western Conference Finals, the matchup was better for Steph Curry, and it was him scoring all the points. But it's always Steph Curry's team. Always. It was always Jerry Seinfeld's show. Always. It was always Sam Malone's show. Always on Cheers. This is where Westbrook, and he can get better, and I think he will. But he's never been a great leader. He's been a great talent, and he is struggling with leadership. Should I be nice? Don't be nice. Leadership's about being the opposite of nice. Sometimes you got to be a jerk to be a leader. Sometimes you have to yell at guys. And I never buy into this. You know, leaders carry a big stick, talk rarely. No, leaders have to talk. Leaders have to be confrontational. Michael Jordan, Kobe. Leaders get in your face. Leaders demand things. Okay, Russell Westbrook's talented. He's never been a leader. And this is his opportunity in his career, and I think he's capable of it, saying, guys, this is my team. We're going to do what I decide. Some nights for Russell, it won't be shots. Paul George gets hot, feed him the rock for 3.5 hours. Some nights it's going to be Melo. But a leader says, Melo, you ain't getting the rock tonight. Paul's hot. You're not getting the rock tonight. And now Westbrook right now is struggling with that. He's playing nice. He's listening to the noises. He's listening to the media. He's listening to fans. He's listening to social media. I want to get that guy 5 shots and that guy 4 shots and myself 4 shots. Stop it. This is Russell Westbrook's team. If you drop 45 tomorrow night, I'm all good. In fact, if you drop 40 for the next month, I'm all good. And then there'll be a night that Carmelo's absurdly filthy hot and you score 6. Leadership's never been about stats. It's never been about stats. It's about knowing it's your team. Dude, take it over. Stop being nice. All right, speaking of that, I'm not going to be nice here, Christine, because I may have to criticize some of my former employers. So last night, they had the College Football Playoff Committee. Once again, it became Wisconsin bashing. Wisconsin is undefeated, but nobody likes the way Wisconsin looks. They're not dynamic. And so everybody, we start with Booger McFarland. He just can't, he just doesn't like this undefeated Wisconsin team.
If Notre Dame wins out, Bama or Georgia wins out, Clemson wins out, Oklahoma wins out, where are you putting Wisconsin at? Because in my opinion, they're not better than any of the teams that I listed there. So when people get upset that a Power 5 conference champion that's undefeated can't get left out, tell me who you're taking out in that scenario.
Notre Dame lost a home game. Oklahoma lost to Iowa State at home. Clemson is a big favorite, lost to Syracuse. Mr. McFarland, not that difficult. So Wisconsin's going to beat Iowa, Michigan, Penn State, 11-0, Power 5 conference, statistically a top 10 team if you go and Google it right now. And you'd struggle with dropping a one-loss team like Clemson? Now, I don't think Wisconsin's going undefeated. They're not. I don't think they're dynamic enough offensively. I've said the same about Notre Dame. They can't throw the ball unless it's on their terms. To win a national championship, you have to throw the ball on somebody else's terms. You're down 10, 4 minutes left. I don't think Wisconsin's dynamic enough offensively, but these arguments are ridiculous. Here's another one from my friend Paul Feinbaum. Listen to this.
Right now, I wouldn't put Wisconsin in there. I don't know how you could possibly make an argument for them. And I'm not sure what they can do the rest of the way unless they start obliterating teams up until and during the Big Ten championship game. They are in big trouble in my mind.
Obliterating teams. Obliterating teams is really important. Who won the national championship last year? Let me think about this. Oh, it was Clemson. Clemson was in 8 one-possession games. Even one against Troy. You know who obliterated people last year? Alabama. One-possession game. Obliterating matters. Yeah, when you're in the SEC, which has now become a 2-team conference, you do obliterate everybody. But when you're in the Big Ten, where there are 6 or 7 teams that are pretty darn good, maybe none of them as good as Alabama, but they're good teams, good enough to win a Cotton Bowl, a Fiesta Bowl, a Sugar Bowl. You don't obliterate everybody. So let's just say Wisconsin beats Iowa by 10 and Michigan by 8 and eventually Penn State by a touchdown. 11-0. You're going to go with the obliteration thing? Can I take you back to 2002? Miami blew out every team they played except one. Ohio State was in 7 one-possession games. The Buckeyes won the national championship. When you're in a conference with balance, you don't obliterate everybody. By the way, Nick Saban wasn't obliterating Les Miles. He wasn't obliterating Mark Richt at Georgia. I think Alabama's really good. But the obliterating thing is a lot about how crappy SEC coaching is. And a chunk of it is about Alabama. But in the last 3 years, as SEC coaching's gone into the toilet, Alabama now torches everybody. They were winning national championships 5 years ago in close games. Many. So be very careful about the obliteration thing. Because, Bama, you obliterated everybody last year. Clemson, 8 one-possession games. How'd that obliteration thing work out? We have quite a show today. Very excited for the show today. So I was talking to somebody yesterday about, well, I don't want to give too much away. I am reading a story this morning, and it's got basically a third of the NFL coaches getting fired. But have you noticed something that has happened over the last 5 years in the NFL? I did some homework this morning. It is shocking. Be very, very careful about firing your NFL coach. You'll want to hear this next. Summer may be behind us. And fall, in about 2-3 weeks, will be behind us in most of the country. But sweat just won't quit. Fortunately, there's an underwear out there to help you through the sticky situations. Tommy John, 21st century men's underwear. I never wore it. Now I wear this today and when I sleep. No riding up ever. Impossible to get a wedgie. Ultralight, breathable fabrics that move with you and not against you. And don't forget, Tommy John's underwear is always backed by the best pair you'll ever wear or its free guarantee. The most comfortable underwear in the market. Go to TommyJohn.com now and use the code HERD, H-E-R-D. That gets you 20% off your first order. It's not the least expensive. It is the best, and I've been wearing only